Hey, how goes it? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jasmine Pickens, and if you are into all things lifestyle, vlogs, traveling, adulting, a hot mess, randomness, then you have come to the very right channel, and that is this girl right here. So I post twice a week, try to post twice a week. Sometimes I do 3 times to compensate for the following week where I fall behind, but I am all for hashtag consistent content. So hit that subscribe button, like, comment, and tell me how are you doing today, because that is partially what this video is all about. So hi, hello, and welcome to my channel.
It's so hot, so hot, so hot.
Number 1 is, how are you using your time? And this is a really big one and a very small one at the same time, because big because time is everything and we have so much of it, but also small because we don't have enough of it, and we all are affected by it in very different ways because we all live different lives and, you know, do different things in the 24/7 kind of reel that is our life until we go kaput. So how are you using your time? The first thing about how am I spending my time is I need to be more present with myself in the moment and not being so preoccupied for all of the ways that I could be better, or expectations that people have for me to be tomorrow. Like, if I don't do this by this certain deadline, people are going to view it this way, or if I'm not, you know, I don't know, like posting on Instagram, or if I'm not, you know, excelling in all these different ways that I've charted for myself to excel by, that I'm somehow less of a person. It's like, you are not using your time effectively. And on a personal growth level, I'm really trying to center myself and appreciate me now. And a lot of the times I think that we end up finding that we're not okay when we think that we're okay, because we're thinking about the tomorrow as being okay. It's like, nope, today, how am I feeling today? And then what I do, that I start to tackle that. I start to tackle, why am I feeling a little off? Why am I feeling full, but full of waste? How do I kind of take that waste out so that I can be empty and filled back with the things that are positive, that are great, that are love, that is care, or 2. Thought I was gonna make this one the last one, but it's something that is pressing on my heart and soul, and that is friendships. Breaking friendships or moving on from friendships sometimes does not mean that that person is a bad person, but that person is not a good friend to you or for you. And that's a hard thing to reconcile, right? Because you want the person who you no longer are friends with to have wronged you, to have done something so heinous that the answer to break away is so obvious. But I think that the friendships that hurt the most are the ones where it's like you all are growing in 2 different directions and you don't know how to stop that growth because your growing is good for you. And whatever growth is happening for that friend, either they're not growing, and that's a problem because now the things aren't level and it's not making sense, or you're just growing apart in the ways in which you're becoming more individuals and like advancing in whatever it is that you want to advance in, and that should be celebrated. And so for me, I am learning deeply about what it means to be both a good person and to not think that that means I am a bad person, or to think that that person is a bad person, because I really do think that the people who I call friend, I've invested a lot of energy in, I've invested a lot of time in, and they have as well into me. And so it takes a lot of trust and opening up and vulnerability. And so it's like an investment, right? But like a personal, emotional one and an intimate one that can't just be like superficial. It can't be I only cared about them on Sundays and they only cared about me on Tuesdays, but that there can be some pain and ways in which you practice your pain and your trauma and yourself onto your friend, because you become, that is what your relationship is, that it no longer, like, it should have never been the case, but you've practiced that so much that you get stuck. And for me, I'm so preoccupied with this fear of maintaining and providing everything for my friends. And the thing that I've disserviced both myself and my friends with is I like to provide in conflict. That means that if myself and a friend get into conflict and I know that they will get upset or they will feel as though it is an attack on their character, that they will lash out or they will feel like trash and they will not hear me. And so I harness the ways in which I was hurt by a friend to protect their feelings and provide them all the safety blankets, because I want to make sure that they're able to express themselves but know that there's no consequences to that expression, that I'm not trying to crowd out their expression. But that is unfair to me, that's unfair to you if you are someone who does that because you're so afraid of expressing your emotions because of the emotions of someone else. That is not healthy. Which leads me to number 3, communication. I think we all could do well with the communication course. People do not know how to communicate with one another. And I debate, right? And I'm still in the debate world. And I'm saying that sometimes I suck as a communicator. And it takes a lot to realize that communication is not just talking, it's not just listening, but it's like having perspective on what you're hearing, right? And understanding yourself and knowing what you want before you go into conversations with folks, especially when it's like this deeper stuff that you need to unpack with a person. It's like you need to have had a conversation with yourself about either A, is there an issue? B, what is the issue? C, what is the problem in the communication for why you cannot communicate that issue easily across? And 4, why are you holding back in having that conversation? And I don't have the answer to all these things, but I know that for me, I'm actively working to know what I want and to stand my ground and to have those hard conversations, because friendships that you can't be vulnerable and take that risk and have that kind of communication where, like, this is what I know, what I believe in, and how I feel and where I'm at. And I wanted to communicate that across to you. Solves so much, and it will save you heartache and stress. Trust me, my brain literally eats me alive with the little things that I let add up and accumulate because I'm just too afraid to communicate across when things piss me off or when something hurt me, and it just builds up into this ugly thing that could kill a friendship, or it builds up into this ugly thing that has no relationship to when you finally pop off and everyone's like, whoa, why'd you pop off? It's because you have literally been holding in so many things because of a failure to communicate to people what your damage is. The 4th and final thing for this video, at least, that I'm going into not only the new year, but like now, activating now in my life, is being kinder to myself. I don't know why I was about to get emotional by just saying that phrase, but I want to be kinder. I'm pretty mean to myself. So when other people are like, talking shit about me, it's like, okay, cool, that's great, but like, I'm the meanest, my worst critic. And we all go through some heavy stuff. I'm going through some heavy stuff currently in my life, and learning how to balance it and to be the provider that I'm so used to being, and being okay has taken so much work, where I'm like, why am I not emotionally resilient right now? Why am I not excelling in these really ridiculous ways that I've wanted to excel? Like, why am I failing on my own account for what failure is? I'm really, really mean to myself. It's like, well, Jasmine, you're the one who's doing these friendships. You're the one who can't, do the job well. You're the one for why they're not, winning all these things. It's like, at some point, one can't be all my fault, but two, failure is okay. And like, I need to realize that there's growth in my failure and that I'm a human, and that we're just so mean to ourselves. We're just like judgment. We create this like chamber of like thoughts about everyone saying these things about us when nobody's saying anything about you. And it's just like figuring out, one, to have an inner sense of self where you can affirm yourself, which means that all this pressure that you're putting on yourself is coming from no one but you, and realizing that when you realize it's just you, calm the fuck down. You'll get where you gotta get for how you gotta get there, not anyone else's, because that's when it's gonna feel good. And so, yeah, I'm learning to be kinder, and y'all should learn to be kinder. It's a better place, a beautiful place to be in. It's not an easy place, trust me. I'm a very controlled, gotta understand the calendar, step by step. How does this work? Have we thought about next December? Have we thought about December's 5 years from now? Like, no, I need to understand how this will manifest itself in so many different ways. And that just is not, it's productive in like a business / like professional, but it's not professional or productive in like a personal setting. And so I hope that this was not like helpful to anyone, because really this is just me coming on camera and telling you what kind of my 4 goals and resolutions are for myself that start now, not next year, and now. And as I learn more about it, I think that I'll turn the camera on and share some more, because I do think that the more that I'm honest with myself, the more that I find out about what I need to grow, what I want to see for myself. And YouTube, wow, YouTube is definitely one of those things that I wanted to do for so long, but I was always like, not now. But then I turned the camera, I bought a camera, got a ring light, did all these things, and was like, now it's pretty dope. Now it's cool, I'm me. And so like, I'm so happy that I'm starting to beginning to live in my truth. And I hope that you all are too, and that I'm here. And if nothing else, if you want to watch someone who's a mess and growing and learning and probably having a lot of similar thoughts as you are, then you should come on over, subscribe to the channel, like, comment, and hit the notification bell so that we can keep this Discord going and have a good old time. So yes, thank you for coming on over, and I will see you next time. Bye.